So I thought I'd do a quick video, little unplanned video, because recently today, Zealand, another very good Football Manager YouTuber and streamer, go check him out if you haven't, made a video today called Football Manager Should Stop Making Games. And I saw a tweet about it and I was like, oh, okay, I'll check this video. I'm sure it's because he raises some really interesting discussions. And so I thought I'd do a little reply video to it with my thoughts. You know, he offered up saying, look, let's discuss it and stuff. Basically, I urge you, I'll leave the link to the video in the description. Go check it out. Go have a watch. Make up your own mind. He raises some valuable points and stuff. But basically, what Zealand is suggesting is rather than having a yearly box price Football Manager looks to go to the possibility of moving to a monthly subscription model. The main reasoning behind that is he's saying, which makes sense, is that rather than waiting for this new feature, let's say Data Hub, waiting an entire year, that you could get features earlier and stuff like that, and people could dip in and dip out and everything like that. Like I said, read the video. It's interesting. So, here's my rebuttal as to why I think that is a horrendous idea. I'm going to say horrendous. I was thinking of the word. Firstly, the subscription-based model as a whole in terms of gaming is dying out. That's why MMOs, their whole method of payment has changed over the years. There's very few MMOs that have a monthly subscription fee. And even the ones that do come out with a monthly subscription fee will quite quickly become a free-to-play game with a cash shop. And because people don't like paying these subscriptions any longer. And there's two words that if you're a gamer, you'll have heard this phrase, and this is the thing that scares me the most when talking about a subscription model. Those two words are live service. Is essentially what you're changing Football Manager into. The problem with a live service, as we've seen with many live service games that have failed, is that then you are paying for a promise. I'm going to give you £5 a month, or wherever no idea what the money would be, and a monthly subscription Football Manager. But I'm going to pay you monthly in the hope that you will provide me with a monthly's worth of upgrades each month, or each big patch, or each few months, or however they're going to, release the features and stuff like this. Whereas with a yearly box game, you go, oh, this is the new game. This is the new features. Do I think that's worth it? Yes or no? If, regarding the answer, buy it or don't, right? I think that whole thing destroys, so you're just asking somebody to blindly go in and go, okay, I'm going to pay monthly fee for this. It works if you're very much a dabbler in Football Manager. A subscription model works really well for somebody that might only play a few weekends each year, have a good couple of sessions with their mates, so you could sort of sign up for a month and stuff. But I just think with the way the entirety of gaming is generally speaking going, which is moving away from subscription models for a very good reason, I don't think Football Manager has a case for going to a subscription model. Another problem with, on the outside, it looks very nice to be able to go, oh, cool, we get features drip-fed to us, or we get them earlier than we didn't have to wait a whole year for that new feature. It's done, therefore they can release it in next patch for all the subscription stuff. That's great. But the problem with a lot of the way the game is built, a lot of these new features each year, or the changes to a feature, have a knock-on effect. They're linked to 10 other new features, or they've introduced this new feature which changes 10 other things, and they have to change how it works. So it's not like they could just chuck in the Data Hub or something as a sort of separate, and it works and it's great, or an animation engine for the 3D graphics, or something else, because there's so many times that so much of the back end and all the things it's linked to would have to change. So therefore, I think it would probably be, and like I said, I've not worked in the gaming industry. I'm just going on sort of my thought process here. I think it's a lot easier to say, well, this is the yearly version. This is the set thing. We've got this new feature and it's linked to these other 5 new features and changes, and it all comes out in one go. I think you're just asking for, it only really works for features that are totally separate, that don't touch anything. So I think a lot of the time it just makes sense to release chunks of features because they're all linked together anyway. So I don't think drip feeding features, in my head anyway, works on that front. I just think that, yes, every year I have the exact same conversation and people ask me, is this year's version getting, and I have exactly the same answer as Zealand, is like, look at the amount of hours you get into it. Yeah, you might not think it's the biggest update this year, but even a casual player is going to get 200 hours into it, so surely it's worth it and everything. And I think... So, here's an interesting one then, Zealand. If you do watch this, I'd like to know your thoughts on this. I've talked about it before. Why not have a DLC partway through the year? It kind of... Actually, it sort of kind of could encompass sort of some of what we were both suggesting, really, in that it can have maybe a feature that's ready, brought forward, so the DLC can come 6 months in, and it's a 10 quid, let's say. But what the DLC needs to do, it can't just be patches, obviously, and it can't just take away features that would be in next year's game anyway, because then you're just paying extra and stuff like that. What I like about the idea of a DLC is it has almost a different atmosphere. I talked a lot in my video about what I'd like to see in future football managers is the dynamic world, the world evolving, the rules changing, teams changing and stuff like this. Not just takeovers and stuff, but, you know, in 20 years' time, the Champions League is not going to look like the Champions League does today. The Premier League is not going to work out exactly the same way. There might be leagues that don't even exist now that will exist in 20 years' time. And what I'd like to see is a DLC that maybe has this sort of living world DLC. It's almost like branching paths to rule changes. There's a chance that in 5 years' time the creation of the Super League happens. Something almost like, and then you could pitch the DLC as like not real life. It's almost like this fantastical world that, oh, okay, all these possible new things could happen and random events and stuff like this. But if of the two models, I definitely prefer the idea of a DLC because, again, you can look at that DLC and go, is this something I want? Maybe it's a separate database that has the dynamic world, so it's a different start point or something. But with an actual product, it's so much easier for the consumer to go, is this worth my time? I'll watch a review on it, see if these features are worth it. With subscriptions, you are paying in the hope that games companies live up to promises. Now, that sentence alone sounds scary because they're not, and I'm not saying anything about Sports Interactive, just generally, I would rather have a product that has all the things that it says in the box. I don't want a roadmap of what possibly might be coming in the next few months, years, and stuff like that. Another problem within is just dropping in features is that you could get a lot of people that are just subscribe. Anytime a new feature comes out, they'll subscribe for the 1 month. So whereas you might normally make, how much is the game? 35 quid? Whatever it is. That much money. Some people you might only make a tenner off that you would have sold the game to. And they might have gotten more involved. I don't like the idea of live services. They've not really worked out. And the subscription model for gaming is just, as for reasons, doesn't work anymore. It used to be every MMO that came out was a subscription. It was monthly subscription. And now it's very few. And they tend to go free play. And I just think I think Football Manager would really struggle to pitch a subscription model unless they could tell, like, there's going to be so much each month, special events and all this extra stuff. Because if they just say you're going to get updated games every now and then with a new feature, that seems really expensive to me in my head, even though you might pay less over the course of time. Paying £5 a month to get a new feature every 3 months, yeah, it's not for me. It's not for me. I just don't. But again, that's just my personal opinion. That's Zealand's opinion. It's not, obviously, I'm not attacking him. It's a discussion. I love the fact he's talking about it. I love that sort of discussion. But in my comments, jump in. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think? It's great the way it is? Do you think the DLC? Do you think no extra monetizations? Pack openings for drafts? Anyone? No? Little Football Manager points that you have to buy with real money to buy? No? Okay, no, good. Auction house? No, okay. Right, there we go. Let me know what you think of it in the comments. Just I thought a quick chatty video. I'd like to know, I'd be interested to read through the comments. So thank you very much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please do hit the like button. I love you a long time. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.